my friends are synths. My hometown of Glasgow has always had a reputation for being one of the world's great music cities. Over the past few years in particular, it feels as if something of a new experimental electronic scene has been emerging, bubbling up from the underground. And whilst there are many contributing factors to this that we could talk about, one of the main linchpins, as far as I'm concerned anyway, has been a monthly club night called Attack Release. I've been going along to Attack Release since near the start or thereabouts, and back at the beginning of 2024, I had this great idea to record some footage and throw together a wee quick video feature, you know, talking about what was going on. However, that kind of grew arms and legs, and so over the past few months, or maybe the better part of a year if we're being honest, I have been attending gigs, speaking to people, and documenting the growth of what I am very presumptuously christening the new Glasgow electronic scene. So here it is.
My name's Fraser Rowan. My artist name is Ty Lumnus. This is Nuggets. The relationship that I have with Attack Release, I sort of came up with the concept a good wee while ago. I ran it myself for a while and then started working with Alan Bryden, who I run it with as a partnership now.
Who are you and what is this?
My name's Alan Bryden. I also perform as gaming, and a long time ago I made quite a few records under the name Sidewinder for Soma Records. Attack Release is something that Fraser started and I got involved with maybe about 9 months ago. So it's a monthly night of all sorts of electronic music. I mean, in some ways it's quite hard to categorize, but I certainly felt that when I came along and played, it felt like, wow, there wasn't really a space where I had been able to perform like that in Glasgow. And you know, I've been DJing and gigging for a long time, but I don't do something that is so straightforward and fits into a little box. It's not really club music, but it's not, you know, it's not an indie rock band. What is it? Attack Release really fills that space where it might be textual, ambient, drone, or it might be banging techno, or it might be something else that doesn't fit either of those, or anywhere in between those. And that's what's really exciting about it.
So I was quite keen to start up something that would be a regular monthly thing. And I was quite keen for me to be playing at it as well, and then bring other people along. So it kind of started off with somewhere for me to play, but that would bring other people in to play on a monthly basis. That didn't even come to pass, because actually creating a night like that, you don't want to be playing at it as well.
I'm Isaac Hollander. You know, I'm a musician and engineer here in Glasgow. I do hardware, synths and stuff as Toadstool Tech and working with Instro, and then I also make music just as Isaac Hollander and sort of doing sometimes sort of ambient Mort Garson stuff and sometimes more D&B crazy techno-y things.
Isaac with a Z?
Isaac with a Z and a K. It's the weirdest possible way you can spell it. Double A. I-Z-double-A-K. It's just a hole.
So why are you here?
Here in Glasgow, specifically.
Well, no, I wouldn't be that anti-American.
No, I did kind of come over here for the music scene, weirdly enough.
Really?
And the Eurorack scene, yeah, the modular kind of people here, this community I've sort of stumbled into is really, really wonderful and special. I'm here for university, kind of formally, I guess. I'm doing electronics at the uni for making synthesizers, so. It's kind of a really nice mix, I think, of like you know, folks who kind of play it quite a bit, and completely new folks kind of coming in, some visiting and all that. And so it's sort of always like a mixed bag of things that you might know and things that you might not. And you always see familiar faces around, and so it's always cool. There's enough variety to make it so that you always want to come by, and but you know, stuff there that you can always kind of latch onto.
I think a lot of why it works is to do with the venue. Block don't charge tickets, don't charge an admission fee, so there's no tickets involved there. So there's no layout from me and Alan's perspective. We don't have to book or hire the venue and then cover our costs. And we get a budget from Block to put on good acts. So anybody that comes and plays for us, we actually pay them. And quite a few times at the end of the night, they go, look, I don't want to take your money because, you know, there's no tickets in the door, you've no made anything here. I'm like, well, it's not actually my money. This is coming from Block, this is artist money. So I think that's why we're still going, is because it's a venue that's free for folk to come in, and it's a good place for artists to come along. It might be a touring artist, or it might be somebody that's played their first ever live electronic gig, and they can just come along and test stuff out. Or it could be somebody who's been playing for ages that just wants to try a new set that they've been playing around with. Anybody that comes along and plays has put time and effort into putting a set together. The best thing that we can do is get folk in the room so there's folk to actually hear it, and then pay them money for that. And Block gives them a pizza and a few beers as well. Quite a few beers. There is remarkably little in the thought process going on in the background of this.
Hello, Ali here, aka The Person, and one of the few reasons I have to actually leave the house is to go to Attack Release, my very local monthly modular meetup. And the music you can hear in the background is actually from a set I did there a while back. I'll bring up the video for that just now. And there really is a vibrant electronic music scene happening in Glasgow at the moment, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I guess firstly we have retailers such as Rubadub and Signal Sounds based right here in Glasgow, as well as synth builders such as Instro and Expert Sleepers are just up the road, and this is a fantastic foundation for a scene to emerge from. Secondly, I think Glasgow is the perfect sized city for a scene like this. It's small enough that you can really get to know everyone involved, yet it's big enough that there's enough creative people doing different things. And my personal experience with Attack Release is as both a performer and a punter. As a performer, it's great because it's a very laid-back environment. You're guaranteed to get an audience. You also get paid and you get beer, which is very different from the music scene I experienced playing in bands many years ago. And as a punter, it's fantastic because you can go there by yourself and you're going to meet someone you know. If you go there regularly enough, you're going to get chatting to people and you're going to make friends. So yeah, I kind of see Attack Release as the glue that brings everything together. So yeah, big shout out to Fraser and Alan for all their hard work and for just generally being sound guys. And if you're ever in Glasgow, I would definitely recommend checking it out.
A lot of the folk that are there are well into the kit. They want to go and nerd out and chat to the folks and find out how they did it, what they were doing and how they're using gear. I was just talking to Alan the other day actually, because he was using the exact same box as Doug from Exterior. We were at his album launch on Saturday night there. Exact same machine, Octotrack. And they both use it in completely different ways, and and don't understand what the other one's doing with it. It's a wonderful thing about electronics. But yeah, I'm off on a tangent again. It's that thing where we're kind of like, right, well, you need to have instruments. But Mike K. Smith, when he comes along, he's got his push 3, and that's it. And he's got, he works with another guy, Alistair, who's also in Donover. Their band's called Tace. And their stuff's just incredible. It's just big soundscapey loveliness. But Mike's using a push, and that's it. There's no modular, there's no hundreds of wires, there's not 20 boxes and so on set on the stage. It's just his push. Some folk are slightly disappointed when you don't have all this stuff to nerd out to, but the majority of folk are just listening, enjoying it.
Attack Release is just a fabulous night. I mean, I come when I can. There's a community here. You come month after month, you get to know people who are here, they show up, and you just pick up conversation from last month. Doesn't really matter who's playing because it's just that community vibe. And Fraser and Alan, who organise it, have done a fabulous job in building that community and getting, 30, 50 people every month to come along. It's astonishing. Building that community takes work. You know, it doesn't happen by accident, and it's clear the work that goes into it. You know, you get a personal invite from Fraser the day before saying, it's on, you're coming. And I think that's magic. You know, it's that personal touch that really makes a difference.
And the guilt.
And the guilt helps as well. Oh God, I'm not going to be able to go this month.
I know, I'm sorry, Fraser, I'm sorry.
That's right.
We've all received that, you know.
Get a letter from your mum and dad that you can't come.
I know. Hello, goodbye, goodbye.
With regards to the actual scene in Glasgow, I believe it is gathering momentum, but I am not really somebody that's dug into what's happening. I kind of find out what's going on from the likes of the guys at Signal Sounds and Struo and actually going to Attack Release, because you kind of get to know the same faces quite a lot. But I can only go by what we are seeing, and more people are wanting to play. You know, I've got quite a list of folks that are wanting to play, and it's so varied, entirely varied. You'll get some people turning up that are just playing totally static noise, weirdness, and then there's other folks that are like playing almost pop and a bit of vocals with it as well, and then there's everything in between that. A couple of people have said that that is creating a scene. It'd be a bit arrogant of me to say that that is the case. But I think there's definitely something there. I think there's momentum gathering, and I would say it's probably not just Glasgow, because I'm getting artists from all over approaching us wanting to play.
Yeah, it's really for all sorts, and we've had for all of the travelling acts who perhaps have a little bit more of experience and reputation. There are just as many people who are doing their first ever gig. And that's also really, really exciting to be able to create and curate a space that is for trying stuff out, which I think is also really, really important.
I'm Keith Duncan.
Who's the absent one that refused to join?
That's Sam Healy. Collectively, we are Board Game. Yeah, that's our second gig. We only played a gig, we've only been doing that together for, I don't know, 3 months. I mean, honestly, we have zero online presence whatsoever. If Fraser actually had to coax a name out of us, we didn't even know what the fuck we were called. I'm not even joking. And then I was like, Sam, what should we do? We're using AI to generate names. Nah, I'm not. For me, it's I don't feel scared to play. I mean, I'm terrified, but I know that there's like-minded people there listening, and that for me is that's great. Everyone's on your side. Do you know what I mean? There's no one against you. No one's sitting there going, people eating their chips going, who the fuck is this? People are actually appreciative of what you do, and they get it.
in the last 5 years, you've really noticed that the solo live electronics performer has blossomed. And I think there's some, like every time I've been to either Noisebox or Attack Release, I have seen things which I did not expect to see. And that's the bedrock of an interesting new scene coming into play. Now, some of those acts are referencing older UK electronica acts like Autek or Black Dog and so on, but some of them are just doing all sorts of weird stuff. And that, like I said, that to me it means it's a really healthy scene, because you're seeing things you're not expecting. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a guy with a gas mask on thrashing away at a guitar the first time I went to Attack Release, and I was just like, you know, it's like that kind of punk attitude of I'm just going to do anything, and there's a performance aspect to it. It's the polar opposite of a guy standing behind a laptop just pressing a few buttons. So there definitely seems to be a good scene from that perspective, and it's much more experimental than perhaps live electronics was in the 90s or 2000s, which was very much based around house and techno paradigm, which is where my sort of soul lies. But that's not always a great format for live electronics, because it can be quite repetitive, and unless you're on a dance floor, it's not always that interesting to listen to. There's a much, I would say, more in-depth and deeper kind of music coming out of Glasgow at the moment from what I've heard from that side of things. And that's built on top of the existing club culture of electronic music, which as far as I can tell still seems to be kicking. Like every time I look through listings magazines, I'm like, yeah, everyone's still busy, it would appear.
So how did you end up involved in this Attack Release situation?
I've got kind of a few friends that do similar sort of music. I've got a friend, Lauren Sarah Hayes, who's played this before, and she was like, you have to go play Attack Release. So I think I got in touch with them, and she was like, just go say that you'd like to do a set, and then they listened to my stuff, and that was it. But yeah, I've been up between London and Edinburgh. I'm Edinburgh based, but also playing Glasgow band as well. So I've been in and out of this sort of scene for ages. But yeah, Attack Release was definitely Lauren Sarah Hayes' sort of like suggestion. And I've been along here quite a few times, and just, yeah, it seems the best sort of home for my stuff. Because it's not really dance music, but it's not kind of like poppy music either. It doesn't really sit that well other than places like this. People can't dance to it. The promoters don't necessarily know what to do with it. The people are fine. Once you get into the space, it's fine, but it's like, you have to be really driving to promote that sort of stuff if it's not like sitting within a genre. I wouldn't say like experimental is a genre or anything else. I just think it's like all the other stuff that they don't know where to put it goes in that. So I'm really grateful for spaces like this where you can play to lots of people, and really nice rig as well, and like great people on the sound. So.
What are some of the most memorable acts that stick out in your mind immediately that have played at Attack Release? Apart from me, obviously. But, you know.
Well, yeah, I can't really see past you, to be honest. That's as soon as that played. I do remember that actually, because you disappeared and I didn't know that you did the lips thing. So you came walking through the crowd just at the point when I was introducing you. Yeah, it was pretty much the reaction.
We've got 3 awesome acts. Some pretty fucked up acts tonight, actually. First up, we've got All My Friends Are Synths. And then, who the fuck is this? What's going on? I think I'm going to leave you to All My Friends Are Synths.
There's been so many memorable. Where to start? The most recent one that springs to mind was Gone Girl that came and played for us, and she had a small modular rig and a homemade acoustic instrument, and she had to have the monitors and the stage off because the acoustic instrument was, the pickups were picking up what was feeding back in. It was just going crazy. It was this massive thing, and she just sat playing it, and it was the most haunting, spellbinding, most incredible thing I'd heard for a long time. That was just absolutely fabulous. Things like that that just come along and you're not going to see them anywhere else. They're just amazing. Another female artist actually is Sonia Kilman, and she blew me away. Again, that was a mix of a small modular rig, and she was playing saxophone and she was also singing. And if there's a 5th Friday in the month, sometimes we get the opportunity to go into Radio Buena Vida and do a live radio broadcast from there, because they don't have anything programmed in the 5th Friday. And so when they offer it up to us, we usually get a couple of the artists that have got a smaller footprint, like Sonia. And so we go in and can do a live radio show with Sonia, and there's a live audience sitting in there, and they can sell beer and stuff like that. So those nights are pretty good. One of the very earliest performances we had was a guy called Etiv, and I guess he draw comparisons to Boards of Canada. I don't think he was really intending it, but it was just that kind of soft electronic music. And after that set, I actually listened to it on repeat constantly. It was on in the car, it was on my headphones. And I don't think he's made any music since. You know, he's got practically no followers. He just asked if he could play. I was like, be magic, yeah, let's do it. I think especially in the electronic music scene, it would be so easy to have white middle-aged men playing every single session for Attack Release. But there's so many other people out there that don't get the opportunity. So we try and balance it out. We're trying to make the night as inclusive as we can. And that's actually quite challenging.
My name is Paula. I am from Tenerife. I've been here in Scotland for 8 years now.
Oh, that was a good accent, is it?
Sure.
How did you end up hearing about this, and why did you decide to play at Attack Release?
Well, it was a friend of mine who also plays. It was funny enough, like we had a date, and the day was a jamming, so we decided just to get along, jam. I was kind of like, oh my God, that sounds like we could just do a live. And was like, yeah, we should do it. But I was kind of like, all right, yeah, now we're friends, we're not doing a band. And he was like, but you definitely should play here. And you know, like I was just coming here for, I don't know, like a year or 2 years. Like, I don't know, it was kind of like smooth. And they asked me and was like, yes. Yeah.
I really doubt that we would move to another venue because, for one thing, Block sound system's incredible. Chris that runs Block has been nothing but supportive, hugely supportive. And even though I've never met him, John that owns Block also has said to Chris, anything that we can do to keep, probably not just our night, other nights as well, any of the nights that are doing good, anything that we can do to keep them there. Yeah, it's a restaurant during the day and it kind of runs up to that. You get a switch of clientele. That bit's always funny when the sound check starts at about 8:30 going into 9 o'clock and you can see folk just hammering down whatever they've got. The place empties and then it changes, the clientele changes. But I think it works in Block, and I think to move it somewhere else would make it something different. And we put a huge amount of effort in just to fill what is not a massive space. I think it's about 180 it holds, including the bit away to the side. So no, we ain't moving, as long as Block will have us.
My name is James Adrian Brown. It's like a jab.
A jab to the face.
A jab to the face. I was saying to you before, when I pulled up into Glasgow, I was like, oh my God, I really miss Glasgow. Everything about the music scene and the venues. Yeah, I really miss Glasgow, it's weird. I think subconsciously, something like some sort of auto mechanism. I was like, I need to find someone in Glasgow that's playing electronic gigs. And then everybody was talking about Block here and Attack Release, and it would seem there's a bit of everything going on in Glasgow, isn't there, basically? Because I'm not from that world of electronic music, really. So yeah, I think I got in touch with them and I was like, hello, please can I come and play in Glasgow? So that's how I ended up here, and I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking amazing, absolutely amazing tonight. I loved it.
Being summoned, not summoned. Am I going to wreck this interview? You fucking drained it.
It's a massive amount of effort to put on one wee night a month, but I think that the audience do enjoy it, appreciate it, come back. More of that.